first thing is just to be able to try and understand what robotic process automation is. And I think it's clear to understand that it's a software that emulates human activity to be able to minimize the repetitive tasks that humans generally do. And this is, for example, where we collect multiple sources of data. For example, if I was introduced to robotic process automation in our industry, where in consulting we're looking for tenders. Now, you know that when you're searching for a tender with a specific keyword, you can go on e-tenders, and it can take significantly long amount of time to go through multiple, you could say, sources or particular websites to determine whether or not that is being pulled out or being searched. And realizing that it was just too repetitive, and a person would come in and search 40 websites on Monday. Tomorrow it will be another 40, but they may have missed the first 40 because they're looking at a new 40 websites. So that's when we got introduced to a tool called UiPath, where it's a tool where you basically create workflows and be able to depict exactly what the keywords are and websites are. And what this does is you switch it on in the morning, it goes through 300 websites, it goes into the particular website with the PDF document, in the PDF document, searches the keyword and downloads it for you in the morning. So when you come in the morning, you've got a set amount of tenders that are related to your core or specifications or terms of reference which you can use. It just makes life much more easier for repetitive tasks. The world of data analytics and the world of being able to read data is significantly become more important, because in our data we can identify anomalies, but a human eye to identify these anomalies can be significantly challenging, because as you know, you could be reading a script and there could be a spelling error, and your eye could oversee that spelling error. Now with data analytics, it gives you, and robotics, it gives you a clear understanding or confidence to be able to highlight the precision and accuracy of these particular sorts of data, which makes day-to-day activities significantly easier, shorter, and it allows businesses to thrive so that their workforce can be able to focus on something more challenging than more repetitive or mundane tasks.
Speaking of businesses, which industries have been vastly improved and or affected by such innovations?
I'll take you through the normal day-to-day ones. I remember when I was in university and I wanted to go out to a movie at Stakinico, I'd stand in a queue and I'd wait to be able to be served, and then obviously get a ticket and get myself a nice popcorn and then go in. Now, as you'll see, robotic process automation has also built in a level of machine learning and been able to create data in a more efficient way. So the industry that I'm bringing into focus here is normal day-to-day activities that we engage in, but we're unaware that there's RPA being put in or there's machine learning being put in. Nowadays, if you want to be able to book a movie, you go onto an app or you go to a particular machine and you tell the machine where you want to sit and how much you want to pay. Similarly to when you go to a retail store, how much bread, how much chickens, or how much tomato sauce for that matter should be stocked on the particular shelf. How's that calculation being made? How do we know that we go to a particular store and we don't get something out of stock? And that is all based on RPA. Now, the one that I think the industry that's using a lot of the machine learning and RPA is a lot on the financial sector to detect fraud. Now, you'll see that with data analytics, you're able to look at large amounts of data and be able to depict whether there's duplicate invoices or duplicate purchase orders, or, for example, some sort of pattern or trend that allows the person to then focus and be able to harness their auditing skills on. In the manufacturing sector, it's been there for years. You see it on TV, where previously people were actually setting up the different components of a particular automobile. And nowadays we've got robots which are more precise in terms of being able to put these things together. In the medical industry, it's prevalent that, if you've got someone that's doing a cataract op, a little bit of a wobble on a doctor who could be as precise as possible could have significant repercussions. So you have robotic process automation that allows the accuracy and precision and the probability of it being a risk significantly reduced, because you've got these highly calibrated process automation tools that allow you a significant comfort and assurance on being able to make sure that this is executed well. And we as humans, we're trying to be able to see where it suits us and where it may not suit us. But it's in industry in every sector, whether it's in mining. And think about the safety. There's very difficult places to get to underground mining. Now, would you compromise the security or the safety of an individual, or would you rather let a robot be able to do that research and analysis for you, which would save lives, but also be able to create more efficiency?
So you alluded to the fact that within manufacturing and the medical industry, these innovations have been included. But there's always the crisis of employment, especially in South Africa, where we have the highest unemployment rate. So what does it take, and where do we draw the line between using robotics and also including humans within it?
I think that's a very, very good question. Now, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an example, right, in layman's terms, and then take you through to answering your question. So my dad is about, I think, 82 years old. And I've been speaking to my dad on being able to be more efficient. What do I mean by that? When he goes to the bank, he'll take his money and wait in the queue, wait to be served. And when the teller comes in front, he will ask him or her, please kindly do not use the machine. Let's count the money together and see that it's accurate, get the deposit slip stamped, get the money into the account, get a statement, and that makes sense to him because he's gone through the process. He understands that because from day one, that's exactly what he's been taught or been accustomed to. Here I am as a spring chicken. They tell him, Dad, there's a more efficient way of doing this. Let's go to the ATM and you can be able to deposit the money in the ATM. And he'll give me 1,000 reasons to why it's not secure because he doesn't understand it. And he's insecure about the technology. And I think with us as people, we're generally very insecure with how technology is advancing, predominantly in the fact we don't understand it. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. And unfortunately, AI, machine learning, is going to have an impact to the economy when it comes to job losses. But there's a positive side to it. It also creates opportunities and skill. And it's up to industries to be able to measure this very carefully. For example, in Kenya, there's an American company in Silicon Valley that appointed a company in Kenya where there's rural areas where they looked at people and they said, why don't we come and teach you how to use a computer? And machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. So what these individuals do in these rural areas, they sit in these computers and they basically click on different pictures. They're collecting sources of data. This data is allowing different types of artificial intelligence to be able to denote and make processes more efficient. Now, I think that is where our focus needs to be. We do need to understand that technology has come to a point where we cannot stop it. It is something that we have to be able to envisage and be able to accept, or else we'll become a Nokia 3310, and no disrespect to them, or a Yellow Pages for that matter. And I think the people need to understand that they need to harness themselves with regards to educating and training themselves in understanding what the benefits are. Previously, if you wanted a website for a company, you'd ask a developer to do it, and you'd take a week, maybe 2 weeks. I can tell you right now, there's open AI tools that can allow you to develop a website that customized to your liking just by a topic within less than 15 minutes. And this you can do yourself. And it's scary to think about all the job opportunities that may come about or may be lost. But I think the glass is half full if you're looking at the perspective of industries being able to accept and see where they can take the workforce to be able to enhance the solutions rather than looking at it as a threat to say that it's going to take my job away. And let me be honest with you, in the short term, it will take the jobs away. But it's up to us to determine whether or not we actually want to accept this technology and move on, or end up in the Stone Age. Because companies around the world, shareholders and investors are looking at companies to be more efficient.
We have a huge problem in South Africa called load shedding. Now, with load shedding and computers and AI, and also taking into consideration the fourth industrial revolution, which technically has taken a long time to reach our shores because of so many other complications, where do you foresee us within the next 5 years?
I think we're very behind when it comes to accepting technology. I think we could have avoided a lot of these based on facts. Machine learning and artificial intelligence could be able to determine the predictive understanding of when maintenance should be occurred, or when the breakdowns should come about. If you put all the data and the facts in, it's scary to say what AI will tell you in terms of the future of South Africa with where we're going in terms of our current energy crisis. That is the one thing where you're scared about. So I honestly think we could have avoided this if top management accepted technology and were not insecure when a small young engineer came and said these were the problems or had different envisaged interests. It's about being able to accept the facts and be able to make calculative risk decisions for the betterment of the country and your organization. Where do I see it when it comes to South Africa? If we do not accept it, I think load shedding is just the tip of the iceberg. If we don't accept the tools that giving us indicators to where we are going to be in the real near future, and we don't accept it, I think load shedding is far beyond the particular crisis that we may go through. You have problems with water, you have problems with service delivery, and all of these can be solved. There is something that we spoke about, Riley, earlier, like ChatGPT, open AI. And it's very scary to note that I mentioned that I had a nephew of mine that wanted to write an essay at school. And 750-word essay with a topic that he gave with regards to the geographies of the southern African countries and what the similarities and differences are. Type that into ChatGPT, 750 words, give it clear instructions, it types it all out for you. You pull that and you give it to another open AI tool which paraphrases it, and it looks like you wrote it. This is where the world is going. I honestly thought that computers being studied in school was a great initiative. I thought in today's time, software development is something that you need to study in school because it's mandatory. Now I've realized that with AI, you don't even need to study software development. You can give a bot an instruction, it will write the scripts for you. That's how scary it is. And the question is, are we willing to embrace this? Or are we looking at it as a threat and not wanting to accept it? And do we see ourselves going backwards in the Stone Age and not being accepted by society and community? Or do we see ourselves in understanding this, keeping up to track with technology and moving forward with the rest of the world? Because trust me, with Elon Musk, he's trying to be able to put chips in our head, and people think that that is going to be happening in the next 20 years. I think it's already happening. Fourth industrial revolution, AI, machine learning is not the future. It's actually the present.